Hi everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Jenny-esque, my YouTube channel. I'm Jenny Azulai, and today I wanted to share a little bit about my midlife fitness journey. So, unlike many folks, I did not develop the exercise habit at a young age. I only started exercising more consistently when I saw a challenge to join 6 weeks at Fit Body Boot Camp in Boca Raton. I was residing in Florida at the time, and I loved it. Part of it was because it was only 30 minutes. So when I felt like I was dying, I only had like 10 more minutes and then I was good. So then of course the pandemic happened and I did not go to gyms. I did try the at-home thing a little bit with videos and virtuals, and that just didn't really work for me. So at the same time, while I was living in Florida in particular and witnessing my aging parents, it was really a wake-up call that I have to exercise. I used to perceive it as optional, especially when I was young and I had a very fast metabolism, and I was fortunate in that respect. I didn't have to really calorie count or think about what I ate, and it was not showing on my hips. I would be self-conscious of certain things like my belly and other things which weren't perfect, and sometimes I would rock Spanx, but for the most part I could get away with eating everything and not exercising. Well, not the case anymore. And further, for health purposes, aside from appearance, obviously we need to keep in shape, and from a cardiovascular perspective, and heart disease runs in my family. Also for women, heart disease is a high killer. So we have to find a way to get started, and you have to embrace the concept of start where you are. So I had a rude awakening at a doctor appointment when I stepped on the scale. This was in November, and I was like, because I had never been even close to that number before. It's not relevant, the number, but for me, and just knowing, wow, like I've in a way let myself go. I've neglected taking care of myself, because it's not necessarily just about appearance. Like I said, it's really more about health. And I was carrying extra weight that would arguably, one can say, was unhealthy. So I was like, I need to take action now. And I realized that the best solution for me was going to be working with someone one-on-one for a variety of reasons. While I can engage in the class atmosphere at gyms, and I have enjoyed it, I know that I'm particularly weak on form. And form is so important, especially when you're lifting weights and you're doing maneuvers. And at this stage of the game, I noticed I pull muscles and sometimes get slight sports injuries. And I attribute a lot of that to my not really knowing what I'm doing. And in a class environment, especially when there are 20 or 30 people, it's difficult for an instructor to really give that full attention to a person and correct their form throughout. There's a lot of things we need to adjust to in midlife that we have to reframe how we look at it. So what we may have been able to do, and forms of exercise that we were able to engage in our 20s and 30s and perhaps even 40s, can radically change as we advance in our age. And I've discovered myself that I need to pace myself. And I was advised by my functional medicine doctor, Harmony Brown, at Reclaim Wellness, to be very mindful of which exercise activities I engage in, and to not just try to do HIIT and very intensive activities because I will run the risk actually of depleting my energy levels, which would not really accomplish much, because it's not just about exercise. I also have to work. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I have several responsibilities like we all do. What I need to do, and I really believe this for everybody, I have to start where I am. You have to start where you are. What you didn't do, what you did, what you could have done, it's not relevant in the present moment. In the present moment, that's what you have to work with. So I decided that day I need to find a good resource for me to get back on track with fitness that's at my own pace and is taking into consideration where I'm at. My stamina is a bit reduced. I do have hot flashes. I sometimes get dizzy when I'm exercising. I decided for me, the best course of action was going to be working with a fitness and nutrition coach. So I interviewed several, and I wound up working with Taryn at Iron T Fitness, who I currently am working with. I still am a work in progress, but I am really happy to say I feel great. Like, I feel the results. I feel my muscles coming back. I feel my balance is better. My energy is better. And weight-wise, I actually have dropped 15.5 pounds, and I have about 7, 8 to go. You know, it depends on which scale I step on, and it depends on the day, and depends on how good I was on my eating and nutrition on that particular day. Working with Taryn, my trainer, Iron T Fitness, has been so helpful because Taryn understands my pace. And yes, she pushes me with the cardio, and sometimes I'm like, all right, when are these jumping jacks gonna be over? When is this plank gonna be done? But in between each rep, sometimes I stand up and I'm like, whoa, in a minute, I'm dizzy. I need to rehydrate. I gotta tell you, I mean, I'm not typically a fan of water, but I'm like, I know I have to drink water. I consume at least 2 33.8 ounce bottles in a session on average. And I'm like, it makes a huge difference. One thing that has really helped me tremendously, not only consume water, but also replenish what I need, are the Ultima electrolytes. They are sugar-free, they have a ton of flavors. My favorites are raspberry and cherry pomegranate. I have little packets, I carry them on me at all times. And sometimes, in fact, even in the afternoon when I'm not exercising, I'll be out and about and I'm like, I feel like just a little sluggish. I'm like, let me get a bottle of water, 16.9 ounce. You open the packet, shake it, good to go. And especially when you're exercising, many people think, oh, I just need water. Not true. You also need to replenish your electrolytes. And I know there are many varieties out there, but I'm trying to reduce my sugar intake, so this one works for me. As far as adding a little bling, I see many people at the gym with their real jewelry on. I would not do that for a variety of reasons, primarily because I'm a bit klutzy, admittedly. I can be very aggressive. I can like just do things without thinking, and it's not gonna end well. So in comes Groove Life. Okay, Groove Life makes silicone rings that have breathability. So when you're getting your sweat on, you're not like, oh, this is sticking to me, and they're cute. So I have, on my left hand, I have one of their Aspire designs, and they have all different patterns and colors. And on the right, I have stackable. We do carry them on our online boutique, jellycrush.com. Again, the links will be below. Now, let's go down to the feet. I tend to have some issues with my knees, and Taryn taught me some stretches which have helped tremendously, but I still find I need more cushion than less. So I rotate my footwear for exercise. I use Adidas, On Cloud, Brooks, and in this case, Hoka. So if I know I'm doing extensive cardio, Hoka is definitely my go-to because it has by far the most cushion, and I'm like, okay, this is what I need. And on a related note, I have Sacco Crew socks. They are so comfortable, they're cushy, there's airflow, and I feel it gives me like a little pep in my step. Sacco are made in the USA, which is awesome. And we do also carry them at jellycrush.com. I was very fortunate to have spent last summer in Israel visiting friends and family, and we had an amazing time. And part of the shopping experience I had was discovering a brand that one might call the Lululemon of Israel, and that is Pantaray. And that's actually what I'm wearing. Both the sports bra and the leggings are Pantaray. I bought 2 of these, 2 different colors. I really wish I bought more because this has actually worked with me from the 15.5 pounds plus I was till now. And I feel like it's going to continue to adapt. And the leggings really do support the core and are like nice throughout the legs. They're not too tight. They're not too loose. And I love the little detail of the logo on the back. So shout out to Pantaray. I will have links to anything I've discussed in the description. So I wanted to mention something that is probably quite obvious for those who've watched me and know me. Normally, I probably match the sofa in terms of my skin tone, and I wanted to get some nice color. And despite appearances to the contrary, I did not go on an exotic vacation, but I did manage to get this bronze on through Bronze Age, New Jersey. Thank you, Diane. I just wanted a little color, and I'm like really happy with it. And it's like, wow, okay, because I could never achieve this naturally. I get burnt. So I'm either really stark white or burnt. And I'm just happy to have a little bit of a tan, especially since I'm showing the midlife midriff area. So having a little color is nice and makes me feel good. I wanted to share some of the tips and tricks and tools that I use on my fitness and weight loss journey. One tool that has been really amazing is the Under Armour app, MyFitnessPal. If you are trying to calorie count and understand also your habits better, this app is amazing. They have a free version and they have a premium version. I opted for the premium version since I am working with a personal trainer and fitness coach. The premium version enables one to export the data so she can see exactly what I ate, when I ate it, how much, etc. Now, it's also, there's a great part of it where, let's say you do get a packaged item, or if you go to a packaged item, you can literally with the premium scan the item and it puts it right in there for you. So it's so easy. And the other advantage is if you go to somewhere that's like a chain restaurant, let's say, let's just say you're like, I'm craving Taco Bell, I want Taco Bell. And that's part of it too. We can't fully deprive ourselves. We gotta have some indulgences and look forward to something even when we're dieting. It's really cool because it'll tell you all the calories in there. And if it has the green check, that means it's been verified. And let's say you just need a bite, like you can have like a bite of a taco and just record how much you had and not completely fall off the wagon on the diet. So MyFitnessPal has been a really integral part of my journey. And every day, like throughout the day, I'm like, oh, I gotta track what I ate. Oh, I gotta track that I had water. And I'm becoming a lot more mindful about portions. I grew up in a situation where we would go out for Italian food and have like a whole basket of bread, get a refill, and then like have a whole humongous plate of pasta and have like regular soda, like a Coke. It took a lot of unlearning for me to realize that these portions are like way out of proportion. And when I traveled to Europe back in the day, I remember seeing like their sodas were like this big, and I'm like, why are their sodas this big versus like thinking about like a big gulp or something? And now it makes sense because, and their plates are also smaller. It makes sense because it's about portion control. And it's one of the issues we have in America that we just, bigger is better. There's a mentality of bigger is better, and we have this expectation that we need copious amounts of food. And that's great, but in the end of the day, health-wise, we do need to monitor and manage our intake. And my particular weakness is carbs. Like I would take a bagel, pita, baguette any day. When fresh bread came out of the oven at the Turkish restaurant the other day, I was like, oh, really? But I had a little corner. So I'm like, I just got a little taste. I put it with the hummus and I was like, okay, this is good. And I tracked it in the app and I'm like, okay, this way also I can look back and see weeks if I gain in a given week. I can see, all right, well, what did I eat last week? And when did I eat it? That's the other part. So for me, the data, it's not about at all really being restrictive. It's about understanding ourselves better. Enough about me. I'd like to hear about you. What do you do for your fitness? Do you work with a trainer? Do you go to a gym? Do the virtual things work for you? Do you just walk in your neighborhood or walk your dog, hang out with your friends, mall walking, whatever you do? I would love to hear about it. I would also love to know other topics you'd like me to address. I would really appreciate if you could help me by liking this video, subscribing to Jenny-esque, and don't forget to click the bell for notifications on new videos. Thanks for tuning in to Jenny-esque.